making a shirt with this adorable file from So Fancy. It's called Happy Camper. I know I want to mix pattern and solid with this because that's what I always do. I think it's the best way to create a unique look. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that, how to ungroup, rearrange, and that way make sure you mirror the correct things because pattern glitter is not going to be mirrored, and we're definitely using pattern glitter for this. It's all the rage right now. So the first thing I'm going to do is I would like to put my camper, I'd like to get Happy and Camper grouped. So I'm going to first group Camper, and then I'm going to group the actual camper and pull it off the mat so that I can get it away from what I'm going to be using for solid. So then we just highlight and right click group. Okay, then I'm going to also group Happy and Camper. You guys may not do this because you want to save space, but for time's sake, I'm going to group it so that whenever I pull it off of, whenever I actually cut it, it'll all be in the exact same place it needs to be. Remember with solid, we want to mirror it because you're cutting from the back side of the HTV. So I'm going to flip, right click, flip horizontally so I don't forget later. Then I'm going to pull my camper back over here and get it ready to cut. However, I would like to mix solid and the door. I want to make the door and the tire into solid because that's going to be really cute to mix all of that. So I'm going to right click and ungroup again. And because this is going to have so much pattern, it's going to look so cute. It doesn't need a monogram. So I'm going to click and right click delete or just press delete to get that off because I don't want that. Now I want to make these solid, so I need to duplicate these. So I highlighted it, I duplicated it. I'm going to pull it over here. Remember, because it's solid, we are going to want to mirror it. So I'm going to flip it horizontally. It's very symmetrical, or it is symmetrical, but it's not very symmetrical. You can see there's like a point over here, but not over here. We just want to make sure that when we place it on top of the pattern glitter, because it's not mirrored, that it matches. So I'm going to go ahead and mirror it just in case it's not perfectly symmetrical. I'm going to also duplicate my tire, pull it over here. Oops. So hold shift down. I'm going to group that so it stays together. Pull it off over here because it's going to be in solid. And then again, we want it to fit, guys, so we are going to also flip this one horizontally. Even though we're not going to be using the inside of this, we want our solid to match it perfectly. So I'm going to do this because I can tell that it's not perfectly symmetrical. So again, I'm going to flip that horizontally as well. We're going to leave this not mirrored though. I know it seems a little difficult to understand the mirroring and not mirroring and why I'm doing it, but just bear with me. Pattern vinyl, because this is going to be the actual outside of the camper is going to be mostly pattern. I'm going to not flip this. I just flipped the inside, which is what I'm using for the solid. Okay, now we're ready to cut. So I'm going to go to send. I'm going to send it to my mat and I'll make sure it's on cut. I would like it to be on heat transfer glitter. That's the setting I use for my patterned glitter HTV. I'm going to bump my speed, which I've already done. It's usually on this setting, it's usually on 5. I'm going to bump my speed down by 1 because I do that with glitter. It's a cool little trick I learned from Julie Huggins. And I'm going to make sure this box is checked. This is the segment like cutter. I can't remember the exact terminology for it right now, but this just makes sure it really, really cuts it. It's helpful with glitter. So I click that box to make sure that segment cutter is on, and then it's ready to send. You can see I'm not hooked up to my machine right now because I'm just demonstrating. I'm going to cut separately so you can see that in a moment. Now let's go back to, let's pretend we cut it. It's going to ask me when I push send. It's going to ask me if I want to send mirrored or as is. I always send as is. I don't actually mirror on this with this option because it puts it in weird places on the mat. Okay, so let's go back to our design. We pretend we already we pretend we already cut our pattern. We're now going to pull this off the mat because we no longer need it. And then I'm going to pull all of this over. Remember, I've already flipped it horizontally, so it's already ready to go. Again, you may want to pull your camper and your happy close together to save solid vinyl. I'm not going to do that right now because we're just saving time and not worried about so much the vinyl at this moment. But I am going to put this over here because that does save a little bit. And it's ready to cut. So it's already flipped, mirrored, so we're going to send it to our mat. The setting we're going to use over here is heat transfer smooth, okay? and it is ready to go. We're going to send that again. It's going to ask us if we want to send it mirrored. We do not because we've already mirrored it. We're going to send it as is, and it's going to get ready to cut. All right, so that's it. Now for the fun part of actually cutting. Okay, I'm going to do a quick tack. I'm going to be pressing several times, so just a couple of seconds. And because now I have exposed HTV, I'm going to want to use my Teflon sheet. Again, a quick tack. Now for the camper. And because now I have exposed HTV, I'm going to want to use my Teflon sheet. Again, a quick tack. Beautiful. Here. As well as my wheel. Gagey, my assistant, is here to hand me my wheel. Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Using my Teflon, we're gonna put camper on last. Quick tack, 5 seconds. Beautiful. I'm going to scoot my shirt up just a little bit to put camper. Gagey, can you hear me, camper?
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Thank you, sir.
For the help.
This is the one that is more in the middle. Everything else is a little offset. So I'm going to check it. Okay. You can do it for the full amount this time. About 12 seconds. And that should be fine. And there you go. Happy camper. Ta-da!